Welcome to episode 5 of Soccerheads New England. I'm Dave Rattigan alongside Paul Nardizzi, and Jim Ruberti is out because he caught one of the many illnesses I've had this fall, and to that I say good. More mic time for me. I'm Dave Rattigan, former award-winning sports writer and comedian, played on Sirius Satellite Radio. With me, Paul Nardizzi, former collegiate soccer player and outstanding comedian, featured on Sirius, Comedy Central, and Conan O'Brien, among other media. Paul is the soccer head. Me, I'm like that vice presidential candidate, Admiral Stockdale, wondering, why am I here? That's me. That's my role in the podcast.
That was good. That was a good reference.
Thank you. Thank you. It is very accurate, and it's unfortunately for anybody who has to listen and anyone else to sit with me for the podcast.
Everyone's rushing to Google right now to look up the Stockdale guy.
It's a good cultural reference from 30 years ago or however long that was. The Revolution resumed their season on October 16th, and I've been saying this all year. This could be their year, and I say this for the same reason I said it last week, bragging rights. Because when they win, Paul, you're going to have to acknowledge that I was the one who said it first. And if they lose, so what? I'll just say it next year. That's kind of my... Anyway, we've got topics today. We got a serious topic, the big scandal in women's soccer, which seems to be expanding. It's spread beyond the U.S. Well, we'll talk about it when it comes up, but it's crazy to me that they would allow this, why there are no safeguards, and how it can continue for as long as it's continued. And it's not just women's soccer. It's women's basketball. It's the gymnastics, the U.S. Olympic gymnastics. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about, I know this is the favorite for you, the CONCACAF. What is that again? The cup?
The CONCACAF World Cup qualifying week 3, phase 3, third round, what have you.
Yeah. Yes. CONCACAF. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite part of that. CONCACAF. It's such a fun name to say. I'm in the CONCACAF. That sounds like something you'd get like a youth team in.
It is the longest group name in the world.
Yeah.
Like Europe is UEFA.
UEFA?
Yes.
See, UEFA is kind of cool. UEFA would be a nice...
But CONCACAF is very long.
UEFA. That'd be a nice name for if I have another kid, I think I'm going to name her UEFA.
You're not having another kid.
No, I know. Right. It's pretty safe that I could say that, but you never know. Mm-hmm. You never know. Anyway, so that play continues, shutting down MLS play. So we'll talk about what the significance is and why would they shut down. World Cup play comes in and they continue the MLS play. And then CONCACAF comes in and they stop. We'll talk about... No,
they didn't stop. I got to correct you there.
They didn't stop?
The Revs just happened to not have a game this week.
2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, yes. But there were MLS games this weekend.
So my whole theory is
okay. You're not the soccer head. I am. Minnesota lost yesterday 3-1 to a team in the Western Conference. So I think it was Colorado. So yeah, they're still playing. The Revs just happen to have a lot of time off. They're resting up for that next game.
How can that be good? How can that be good for a team to have that long a break this late in the season?
It's probably not good. And we'll see how they play when they come out of it.
Right.
Because they haven't been at their best recently. They were playing better in the beginning of the year, and you obviously want to be playing your best heading into the playoffs. So it's going to be important for them to get back to where they were in the beginning.
So the rest could work to their advantage. I mean, the Red Sox could have used the rest as they went down the stretch. What's that?
It could be to their disadvantage, though.
Right. All right. And we're also going to do something called, I'm going to borrow what I used to do in my column. I'm going to call it Great Moments in Sports, and we're going to talk to you about your greatest moments in sports. Whatever they happen to be. We were recording on Monday, October 11th, and the significance of this, and we're gonna be releasing it in a couple of days, but we're recording on Monday, which is Boston Marathon Day, Indigenous Peoples Day in Massachusetts, Columbus Day, traditional holiday honoring all Italians, and National Coming Out Day. So it's really sad that Ruberti can't be with us because he would embrace Columbus Day as an Italian. He would avoid Marathon Day because it's exercise, and he'd be able to insult both the indigenous people and the National Coming Out Day people.
I thought you made that up. This is now a thing, National Coming Out Day?
Yeah, National Coming Out Day. Oh. I again, the joy of Facebook, you learn about these things.
That's a long time to wait. I mean, beginning of the year, January, and you got to wait all the way till October to announce it.
To come out, yeah.
I feel like it should be every month or something.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense. Or you would do it. What was it? Is it gay?
Pride Month is in
Pride
June.
Month. Why wouldn't you do this in Pride Month?
Yeah, that makes more sense. Crowding it with a very busy day.
It is.
Like I came out yesterday. I'm sorry, I was watching the marathon. I didn't catch that. Nobody's going to pay attention.
Yeah. Nobody will be paid. They'll be like, "Oh, it's National Coming Out Day. Who won?
Yeah.
Who won the wheelchair division?" It is pretty interesting. The Indigenous Peoples Day, as you could see the forces of change, maybe, versus the traditional view of Columbus. Some people don't want to honor Christopher Columbus because of some of the things that went down back then. With pretty brutal time.
It's kind of a slap in the face to the Indigenous people, I think, to have it on Columbus Day. If they could pick a day, isn't that the one day they wouldn't want it on? The birthday of the guy who tried to wipe them off the planet?
That's a good point.
364 other choices I think they would rather have.
You think this is the birthday of Columbus?
I don't know, isn't it?
I don't know.
It's not the day he landed in America, so it's got to be his birthday.
Well, no, because it's a 3-day weekend, so it's always a different date, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know our holidays. But you're right. You're right. It's a good point, though. If you're a national Indigenous peoples, why would you be interested in doing it on the same day as Columbus?
Yeah.
Pshaw. But you know what it is? 3-day weekend. They want to fit it onto the three-day weekend. Nobody wants to give away the 3-day weekend, but
nobody consults me on this stuff.
They should call you.
The marathon I find to be completely idiotic as well.
You think the marathon's idiotic?
Yes.
Why is that?
To run that far, to do that to your body is stupid.
Oh, I know.
I commend the people for doing it, but the first marathoner, if you go back to ancient Greece,
yep,
had to run, I believe, to the town of Marathon or from the town of Marathon.
Yeah.
26.3 miles, got to the end, dropped dead.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think the people looked down and said, "We got to make this an annual event." I don't think that happened. It's not good for you.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Anyway, we're going to get on to some of our subject, but first I got to do some plugs. This is the most important part of the show. I'm just going to say this for you listeners. I'm going to give you a phone number, 978-857-7573. That's the number for financial advisor Rick Spencer, sponsor of Soccerheads New England. If you want your child to have the best opportunities life has to offer, college might be in your future, and you might have noticed that it's expensive, college. If you don't have a bathtub full of royalty checks like Paul Nardizzi, do you have a bathtub full of royalty checks? Anyway, you should have a financial game plan. You should have a financial game plan because it's a good idea. For years, financial consultant Rick Spencer has been speaking to parents at free seminars for soccer clubs, youth leagues, and the general public. He's helped thousands of students from all over New England get into the right school for them at the right cost by crafting the best strategy for each individual student. Rick's the father of soccer players, so he's been there. He's also my financial consultant, Paul, and I can testify that without his help, I'd have to become a bank robber. And I don't think that would work out for me. I just don't think I'd be good at that. I think I'd be too chatty at the window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can see you getting off on a tangent. And then
Yeah.
Where does the time go?
Oh. Yeah. Can I have a pen?
Why am I here again?
Can I take a lollipop? Anyway, to have Rick come speak to your club, team, league, or group, or to check out one of his free seminars in your area, call him at 978-857-7573. Rick Spencer, financial consultant. And if your soccer league, team, or club needs to raise money and you want to have a great time doing it, you should hire the Soccerheads Experience. The Soccerheads Experience is more than a comedy show. It's a great fundraising event that your community will never forget. A great show, a funny MC, a soccer theme, and a lot more. To find out more, email me at dave@scampscomedy. That's SCAMPS comedy.com. To get the ball rolling with Soccerheads New England and the Soccerheads Experience, shoot me an email. I also want to do this before we start, Paul. I want to send congratulations to my buddy Dave Kroll, head coach at St. John's Prep, and recently named to the Hall of Fame for coaches in either Massachusetts or Eastern Massachusetts. I don't remember.
It's a great honor, for sure.
Yeah, it is. And Dave has previously built programs in Linfield for both the girls and the boys. He's won a state championship of the Prep. He's been coach of the year in the Boston Globe, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we hope to have him as a guest
We
sometime.
will have him on here sometime.
in the future.
And we will grill that man.
We will grill him, and we'll Paul and I could say this, we look forward to insulting him for the entire hour. It's going to be so
he may
much.
be out of the Hall of Fame by the time we're done with him.
I have a story, not about him, but about his daughter, and I'll get to it later on in our great moments in sports. But anyway, congratulations to Coach Dave Kroll from the St. John's Prep in Danvers. So this is from the HuffPost. The professional women's soccer players in Australia and Venezuela have now come forward with sexual misconduct allegations following the revelations that we've heard in recent weeks about abuse that have shaken the U.S. National Women's Soccer League. On social media Tuesday, there was a statement signed by 24 players. So 24 players. Venezuela's women's national soccer team condemned what the athletes described as years of physical, psychological, and sexual abuse and harassment by former coach Kenneth, and it's hard for me to pronounce this because it's a Z and an S, but it looks like it's Zarameta. And he was head coach of the team for close to a decade. He was also coach of the Panamanian women's national team at one point. So the statement said that in 2020, an unnamed Venezuelan player told her teammates that she had been sexually abused by Zarameta since she was 14. They said he frequently questioned players about their sexual orientation, made other inappropriate advances, including asking players for massages. The Venezuelan Football Federation did not immediately respond to a request for comment, and the reporter could not reach Zarameta.
That's strange. He's not picking up his phone today.
It is funny the way they
Maybe
don't.
they should call him again.
They don't answer the.
And the Australian incident was also a man and women, or was it a case of any of these cases of women coaching women? Because the U.S. Coach in the women's league, he also had numerous accusations. So similar to, you got someone like Deshaun Watson with his 22 accusers, and he wants you to believe that they're all fabricating a story that matches. They're all the same story.
Yeah.
And then he comes out and says it's not true, yet each accusation sort of seems like it's just a similar tact that he's taken with.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what the difference is between Deshaun Watson and about these guys is that you're coaching a 14-year-old girl. You've got this power imbalance. In many cases, I know in one of the American cases, one of the coaches that who's been accused, is also a kind of a Bobby Knight type, kind of an abusive coach who's also allegedly a sexual abuser. And I want to call in. We've got a special guest.
Yeah, better to let a special guest take this topic so us comedians don't trip over our words.
He's an expert in sexual abuse and former police officer, Dale Lawrence. We do another podcast called Inside the Line. Dale, thanks for joining us.
Well, hey, Dave, I appreciate it. Jim couldn't make it, so I was the next best thing, I guess.
if Jim's tummy feels sore enough, then we welcome you. I don't know. So you've dealt with this sexual abuse?
There was a big case out of the North Shore in Massachusetts, probably 12 years ago, a baseball coach who ultimately, in the end, he committed suicide, but he was accused.
Yeah.
Young baseball players from the ages of, let's say, 10 to 15.
Yep.
He would groom them, take them to baseball camps and show interest in them. And he had connections in the baseball industry. So he was able to kind of come about. And if he told a parent that, hey, I'll take your kid for the weekend, we're going to go to a baseball camp in Connecticut, whatever. And a part of that, he was ultimately, at some point, he was accused of molesting those children.
Yeah.
And there was enough evidence against him that he was going to be tried and probably prosecuted. However, he took matters into his own hands and committed suicide.
I remember the case. I remember the guy too. And it's funny because, nice guy, like many predators, very nice guy.
Well, they have to build your trust, and they more so when you're talking 14-year-old kids, girls, they have to build the trust of the parents for the parents to trust them to go away on a weekend or to go away and pick them up at 6 a.m. and go up to New Hampshire for a camp. So they have to trust the coach. So one way to trust him, he comes across as a nice